The Chicago Bears get more offensive line help as they sign offensive tackle Reilly Reiff to a one-year deal worth up to $12.5 million. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears offseason update video. Training camp is a day away now, so if you guys want all the latest news from Bears training camp, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be coming out with a lot of Bears training camp news in the next couple weeks. But today I'll be talking about some more offensive line help that Ryan Poles has signed to the Chicago Bears at the tackle spot. In the last 24 hours, the Bears have now signed two offensive linemen that I feel like have a real good chance of starting on the line throughout this entire year, which is again another reason why you don't complain about your rosters in early March during OTAs in June, because a lot can happen from then until the start of training camp, like me and a lot of other Bears fans predicted. Okay, I expected the Bears to make a couple moves on the offensive line, and we have done just that. Okay, we've signed two potential starters yesterday, Michael Schofield, and today Reilly Reiff, offensive tackle who can play both left tackle and right tackle. We signed him to a one-year deal worth up to $12.5 million. I was pretty surprised at the money that we're giving him, just because I thought he would be more of a competition piece at tackle, but it seems like the Bears might even expect him to be starting the season with the amount of money that they gave him. Now, obviously, it's not that big of a deal we're paying him this money, right? Because he is starter level in this league, and the Bears did have the fourth most cap space in the NFL currently for this year. For 2022, we still had like over $21 million to spend, so we're not hurting for cap space. Okay, I was hoping we would use this cap space, and we have done that, okay, by making signings like this. Now, I don't think we have a crazy amount of cap space left now for this season, but I think that's fine, right? I mean, our roster is pretty much set at this point. We might be adding a receiver, maybe a linebacker, maybe something here and there, but it's not going to be many more big moves after this. But overall, guys, my opinions on the signing are pretty similar to that of the Schofield signing. Okay, we're getting an average level starter on the offensive line. Not a great starter, not an elite starter, but also not a player that's horrible. Okay, he's been starting in this league for a long time. He's 33 years old, so has a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge he's bringing to the table. And at the very worst, he's going to give the Chicago Bears, an average level starter on the offensive line, probably. Okay, and for a Bears offensive line that had so many question marks all over it, getting even average level players on the O-line, that's a big upgrade. Okay, that's a big help, because if our young guys, if Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borom, Braxton Jones don't perform in the way we think they can perform, which is possible, right? I mean, this is the NFL. Nobody is guaranteed to be great in the NFL, and young guys, they struggle sometimes. At least we got a solid, veteran that can provide Justin Fields with some stability on the offensive line. Same with, Schofield as well. He's good enough to start on the offensive line. Not elite, not great. We want to get to elite great status eventually, but guys, for this year, I'm okay if we have even an average or slightly below average offensive line, because that would still be an upgrade over what we had last year. And best case scenario, guys, our young guys beat out Reilly Reiff, they beat out Michael Schofield, and we have, young ascending talent on the O-line that's performing better than what we thought they were going to perform like. But you got to have insurance, in case that doesn't happen. And here is our insurance in Reilly Reiff, in Michael Schofield. So talking a little bit more about Reilly Reiff and his career so far in the NFL. He was drafted back in 2012 by the Detroit Lions in the first round, played there for 5 years. Then after that, he went to the Minnesota Vikings, played there for 4 years. And then last year, he was with the Bengals and, helped them reach the Super Bowl. He didn't play in the playoffs, though. He suffered an ankle injury, which kept him out for the playoffs. But out of all the Bengals offensive linemen last year, the Bengals offensive line was pretty bad last year, guys. Reilly Reiff was still pretty much capable last year. Okay, it wasn't his best of best years last year for Reilly Reiff, but he was still decent enough for the most part. Okay, if I read you guys some of his stats from PFFs, if you read his stats from last year, they're nothing really special, but like I mentioned, guys, good enough for the most part. Okay, better run blocking grade than pass blocking grade, but you can see he allowed 4 sacks, had only 1 penalty the entire year, which is pretty good. Okay, you want to keep the penalties down. Eberflus has stressed wanting to keep penalties down this year, because that's been an area where the Bears have struggled the last 4 or 5 years. And he allowed 3 hits, 21 total pressures, 4 sacks, so nothing too special, but decent enough. Okay, played 711 snaps for the Bengals, started 12 games, so pretty okay year, all things considered. If you read you guys' stats from previous years, they are a lot better. Obviously, when he was younger, he was performing at a high level, but you can see throughout his entire career, he's been pretty much average for the most part. He's had a couple really good seasons, like, with the Detroit Lions earlier in his career, but with the Vikings, he's pretty average. Last year with the Bengals, he was also pretty average, and, that's pretty much what he's going to bring to the Chicago Bears. A stabilizing presence on the offensive line that should be, probably good enough to start on the left side or on the right side if need be. And that's the big question, guys. Are we going to need Reilly Reiff to start this year? Because if Tevin Jenkins, if Braxton Jones, or Larry Borom perform really well in camp, there could be a scenario in which Reilly Reiff does not even have to start, which honestly, in my opinion, guys, would be the preferred scenario. You want younger, ascending players on the offensive line that are going to be here for a long time to be playing well for you on the offensive line. Schofield and, Reiff are most likely going to be one-year rentals as of now. I know we're paying, Reilly Reiff especially a lot of money, so you don't want to really waste that money. But guys, it's only a one-year deal. It's not going to affect our cap in future years. The McCaskies are rich enough where they can afford that, okay? Even if we waste the money on a player that's not going to start this year, who cares, okay? It's not going to affect our cap in future years. But at the very worst, if he does have to start the entire year, if Larry Borom, Tevin Jenkins, Braxton Jones don't take those next steps forward that we expect them to take, at least we're not going to throw Justin Fields into the fire behind bottom of the league, worst of the worst offensive line play. Because before these two signings, that could have been a possibility, okay? We had potentially Sam Mustipher starting at right guard. We had potentially a rookie or really young players starting at both left tackle and right tackle. Now we have only one young player probably starting at, right tackle, and maybe Reilly Reiff starting at left tackle, which is just such an upgrade over the situation we had, a few days ago even. So I like this signing overall. It's basically a pretty expensive insurance policy in case, Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borom, Braxton Jones do not work out, which, hey, I love to see that, right? I mean, I know we're probably not going to be contending this year for anything special, but still, you have a young quarterback in Justin Fields who you want to protect, who you want to develop. And to do that, you're going to have to surround him with, a decent enough offensive line where we can have a functional offense. Last year, we did not have a functional offense whatsoever, but hopefully we can this year. So welcome to Chicago, Reilly Reiff. Let me know what you guys think about this signing down below in the comments. Again, I don't think we're going to be making any other major signings now the rest of the year because most of the cap is gone, but who knows? I could still see us signing a receiver, maybe a guy like, I don't know, Will Fuller is still out there, Julio Jones is still out there, T.Y. Hilton, still a decent amount of veteran options, and it seems like Ryan Poles has proven he's okay, with signing some more veteran options to help out this roster for this current year. So let me know what you guys think about the signing down below in the comments, but as always, bear down.